to the Warriors Offseason Summit from Fremont Bank on 95.7 The Game.
Okay, Fremont, let's go. Big finish. Come on.
Yeah, look at you.
Warriors Summit number 4 here at Fremont Bank. This has been an unbelievable experience, and we're not done yet. Got a good, solid 10-minute finish here for you. All 3 shows. A few thank yous need to come on out. Toss me one of those. Thank you, brother. A few thank yous need to come on out. And the first one, first and foremost, is thank you so much to the entire Fremont Bank family for having us here today. And some specific shout-outs that we want to send out. Chairman Mike Wallace, President and CEO Andy Masterakis,
Andy,
Devin Johnson, the CMO, and the entire Hyman family. Thank you so much for having us and hosting us.
Wait a minute, Hyman Roth? I guess nobody's watched that movie.
No, we watched
never even once.
I also always want to send out a very special thank you to you, Bonta and Joe, and you, Steiny and Goo, because this is our slot, and you guys make extra time out of your day to do your show and then come do this one.
Yeah, boys.
Can I leave it 2 the next 3 days?
No,
Daddy.
absolutely not.
My daughter was not happy with you. She wanted Daddy in the house. Not happy when I said, blame Willard.
Blame Willard.
I'm not going to play Dibs.
This is the house that Dibs built. Haven't you seen this place?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
My bank.
And thank you again to each and every one of you. It is incredible to see you guys come out. Because you are the core of our audience, we love especially sharing this with you. We have something pretty fun and pretty unique that we're doing next week. And we hope
don't say it.
We hope that you enjoy it. You'll hope that you will join us. But next week, we are doing, for 1 week only, a big lineup shuffle.
Oh.
And so you will get Willard and Dibs in the morning. You will get Bonta and Joe in the midday.
We get to sleep.
And I can still hit a tea time.
And you will get Steiny and Goo in afternoon drive.
I'm playing 3 times. Oh, yeah.
1 week only. We'll shake it up. We'll have some fun. And I'm up by 4 o'clock in the morning every day anyway. So
you're stealing our material.
I'm excited to go home by 10:30. Anyway, we hope you enjoy it. We're all going to have some fun with that. That will be all next week and only next week on 95.7 The Game. So thank you for all of you out there.
Good luck finding parking.
Dude, I've already thought about that. The biggest challenge is to creep out of the house and not wake the baby.
I struggle with that
every morning. It's
every morning.
Waking baby syndrome is terrible.
I get cursed out once a morning.
Only once? Oh, you must not have 3 kids. Anyway, all right. The whole thing is sponsored by Jax because, as we like to say, the lineup is getting jacked up. So that's coming next week. And
we sound like the Giants.
We look forward to it.
I'm kidding. Giants play good baseball.
Got 2 All-Stars.
There you go.
I know.
3 under.
We doubled the All-Stars.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Just about 7 or 8 minutes left.
Finished it, Willard.
What stood out? You all that energy?
Never.
No, what stood out? What do you got? What's your final thought on where this thing is?
The Warriors mean so much to me and this area and all the communities. And I won't second guess Joe Lacob. I can't. They built a dynasty, but I am hurt with the things that have come out and how people were treated and the disease of me per se. So I'm just sitting back watching. And no matter what happens, if they can't get back to prominence, we still got the 4 championships and the Warriors being a dynasty to rely on. But I am watching moving forward, hoping, because I love hard, that they can facilitate a trade and get Steph some help, but I'm just telling you this. There's Klay Thompson, the Draymond Greens, the Steve Kerrs, the Bob Myers, my friend, but there's nothing like the Steph Curry. He's a one and only. He's not old and decrepit. Let's do him right and try to get him Malcolm X by any means necessary, all the help in the world to run this thing to the end. And if we don't win, we can sleep well at night, us fans and Joe and company, knowing we did everything under the sun to try to do it for Steph. He deserves that.
You know,
I'm with you, Coop.
You know what I want to ask you?
I'm with Coop.
Because we didn't really get to this, but you're sort of, I think, leading us there, and that is your current faith in the front office. There's obviously been some recent changes. This is way too, God, anybody out there who's talking about how Dunleavy ain't it, you've given him 8 days basically to be the GM. That's absurd. But what is your current faith in the front office? Because you said you're hurt by some of the things that have happened.
I'll say an 8. I'm not mad at Mike. I think he inherited a mess, and maybe that had something to do with Bob's departure. But I'm not mad at the 3 guys that came in. They went big game hunting for Paul George. It came up empty, so I'm not mad. I'm hoping that Lauri Markkanen in the next 2 weeks or month will be a Golden State Warrior. And if it doesn't work out, at least we can say they tried.
You said you're with him.
I'm with Goo in terms of the memories and the championships, and they've given us a decade of excellence. We grew up Warrior fans. We all did, and it was rough times. I mean, they were never on the NBA on NBC. They were not part of those triple headers. They were never on TNT. Now we get primetime games, showcase games. It's all due to the success they've had. The faith in the front office, I think Mike Dunleavy's done a great job so far. You drafted Pods. He made all-rookie team. Yep. TJD came up just short of the all-rookie second team. So you nailed that. You got him out of the tax. You had the gall to let Klay Thompson walk and let Chris Paul walk by waiving him. I don't think Mike's done a bad job. These assets that he's acquired, I don't think they're bad. So what he's had to work with, I think Mike's done fine so far.
What do you think?
How many of you, this will be my, how many of you are parents? And how many of you have gone through the empty nest where your kids get to that point, right?
Yeah.
How painful was it? Like, I'm getting ready to say goodbye to my youngest daughter. It's painful, isn't it? It's painful. But it's necessary. And it's growth. And it can be beautiful. It can be. It's a transition. I'm not saying it's easy. But there comes a time when you've got to let go and grow.
So
I think we're there.
So you're sending Steph to college?
Oh, my
Not
God.
yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Forget about the house.
Cute story.
Tell them to get a job.
That's a cute little story. Yeah. My takeaway, Mark, is that this can't be it. This can't be the roster.
Yeah.
These can't be the moves. This can't be the team that you go into October fully comprised as. You have too many mediocre players, not enough frontline guys. Mike Dunleavy's done fine. You're right. Gotten you out of the second apron. Klay was going to leave no matter what. DeAnthony Melton is a guy who can barely play because he's hurt. Slow-mo can't shoot. And I'm not thrilled with the offseason moves.
Buddy Buckets?
Buddy Buckets I think it's going to be fun because there'll be nights where he goes 11 for 26 and nights when he goes 2 for 17. He's not going to be dull.
Wait.
I'll give him that. But this can't be it.
You're not thrilled with the offseason moves?
Not thrilled, no.
In what way?
Melton, you gave him the mid-level, and he has a bad back, so he may or may not even be able to play. He played 30 games last year,
I mean,
give or take.
I'm sure that they've done their medicals.
Correct.
I mean, injury risk is for everybody.
Guy with a bad back.
Okay.
Anderson is a non-shooter in a team that is desperate for shooting, and Buddy Hield is an e-ticket thrill ride. He's going to go 10 for
He's a shooter on
10
a team
for 14
that needs shooting.
and 2 for 22.
Sure.
He's a guy not afraid to shoot. Not thrilled with the moves, but my takeaway is that this cannot be the end of the move.
I mean, I'll say it. I said it earlier when it was just you and me. I'll say it again, at least in backing you in this. If I were a teacher, I would grade this right now as an incomplete. And I do think that if we do get to opening night and this is the roster, it's certainly something that you come into with an open mind, but I don't see how the rotation works. I don't see how an opposing defense is worried about anything but Steph Curry, and that's where I think his age comes into play. That much can't be on his shoulders by himself.
Real quick, the one thing we haven't mentioned is if you look at the Warriors' contract situation right now, I think I counted they have 7 players making between Bonta, 6 and 13.
6 to 10 million. Yeah, 13 million. Yeah.
That's where I would say I'm on. Dibley's on to something. I don't think they're done either, but I don't necessarily think their next move it will definitely be in the off season, but they do have pieces where something more could definitely come.
I think they'll be active at the trade deadline this year. Again, they got a lot of tradable contracts. Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, Melton, Looney's on a one-year deal, GP2's on a one-year deal. Opposing NBA teams love expiring contracts. So the Warriors, I think, are in a position to strike. Maybe they don't strike on that big name, but they have a lot more flexibility going into this season than they did last year.
I'll just give you the take that everybody's waiting to hear. I'm going with Kaminga is going to be the most improved player this year. I think he's going to be the Tyrese Maxey.
Welcome to my world.
He's going to be the Tyrese Maxey. He's going to add 5 more points per game to his resume. He's going to be a fringe all-star. And next year...
So you're telling me he's going to make that leap?
He is.
Oh,
and next year, not this year, but next year, he will be the Warriors all-star. I really believe that.
I love that.
Jonathan Kaminga, I think we're completely sleeping on him. I think he's the future. We're a very odd fan base in the Bay Area. We only like our own homegrown guys, unless they were born here and then signed as a free agent, and their name is Barry Bonds. But like,
so you're saying we didn't love Kevin Durant?
We like our homegrown guys, and I think Jonathan Kaminga will be the next homegrown guy that we all end up loving. And I think this year is going to be a transition year. It's going to be a lot of fun watching them, though.
I hope you're right. My only concern on that, we were talking about this earlier.
He's 21.
I understood, and he could be fantastic. The bottom line, though, is when it feels to me like his timeline might not match up with Steph's timeline.
No doubt.
That's difficult. That's difficult. You have to acknowledge that, and that's
but I would say that the young players last year, the young players last year were ready. It was the old guys that let them down.
I would say the last 2 years
let them down.
I would say the last 2 years, Kaminga. We forget when Wiggins disappeared for 2 months for whatever it was, personal reasons.
Kaminga
stabilized the season. He was really good. We all forget that.
No show in the playoffs. Yeah, no show in the playoffs.
He had a shorter leash.
This year against Sacramento, his 4 minutes, Guru, was the best 4 minutes of that game.
Listen.
I won't say otherwise.
Nobody dislikes Jonathan Kaminga. It just comes down to a point of, do those two timelines match, and do you want to stick with that hope? You're right, like homegrown players, that's better. That's better. But we have to bake that into our opinion. Are we elevating a Kaminga above what he is because he's homegrown?
I keep hearing the timeline thing, matching timelines. Are the Warriors one move away from winning the championship? I do the television pregame show. I can tell you right now, they're not one move away from a championship. They're about 3 moves away, or maybe 4 moves away
but to your point, those moves don't need to come right now.
They don't. So I want to see Kaminga. I want to see what he is. Give him a shot. And when you gave him a shot last year, he was your second best player towards the tail end of the season.
He needs to give himself a shot by developing a shot.
No,
that's the leap.
Actually, his 3-point shot,
35.5%.
Not that bad.
From the moment the Denver game happened.
He wasn't that bad.
He was your second best player on a team that didn't qualify for the playoffs.
Marketing was your best player.
He didn't make the playoffs, and I didn't ask age. I didn't ask age. I'm giving you a fact.
Baby. Thank you for being here.
Let's do another hour.
For Bonta and Joe, and for Steiny and Goo and Willard and Dibs, and again, we'll be back with you at our normal times coming up tomorrow. What is coming up on the game, which is the best of the game, is brought to you by
Fremont Bank.
Fremont Bank, celebrating 60 years.